What up, Puffcakes? It's your boy, the Dean of Rules, and this is your Week 6 recap. This is where we separate the men from the boys. Bye week started, and if you had any Falcons, Saints, Jets, or 49ers on your team, you may have had to dig into that bench for some fill-ins. Let's see how the league handled it on this week.
Puffcakes Fantasy Football Recap.
Our number one ranked team going into the week, Don't Touch My Chubb, is looking more like a drunk Ron Jeremy than a Peter North these days, as he took an embarrassing 56-point loss to his little brother Kids. Nick Chubb got bit by the injury bug and missed this week, and most of his workhorses just didn't put up the numbers that they had been for the first 5 weeks of the season. For his third straight win, Kid had strong performances from Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, and the Los Angeles defense, making him our top scorer this week at 168 points. This also makes him our overall points leader at 875. With a 112-point performance, Flip falls into third place, loses his top scorer badge, and also earns himself a Sosa Award.
The boy has no skills. You schooled by a little girl.
1-12 is as hot as it gets right now, and he's rattled off 5 straight wins to move into the number 1 spot.
That's called a winning streak. It has happened before.
This week he matched up against rookie manager CD's Nuts. Sam was our second highest scorer this week, and Ryan was the second lowest in our 157 to 113 slaughter. Easy to see how this one went Sam's way. Sam jumped out to an early lead Thursday with 30 points from Leonard Fournette and never looked back.
I'm the king of the world!
Ryan never closed the gap the rest of the weekend, and Sam flashed some managerial prowess when he picked up kicker Chris Boswell to replace his kicker on bye week for a solid 13 points. And he also replaced injured Russell Wilson with Trevor Lawrence for 21 points. Justin Herbert had a shit day at only 15 points and didn't help Ryan any in this matchup. Sam is now 5-1. And Ryan falls to 3-3 in 8th place. In our slimmest margin of victory this week, Child Please had to Chato his third straight loss in this 129 to 127 battle. Sam has got to be stealing all of Chato's good juju because every player on Chato's bench had 0 points or less, so there's nothing he can do to fix this one, and as his team is decimated by the injury and COVID bugs.
You got fucked and you don't even know it, and they didn't buy you dinner either.
Hager had 30 points from Aaron Rodgers and 29 from Jonathan Taylor to take the W and move to 4-2 in 5th place. Chato only needed 11 points from Devin Singletary Monday night to get the comfort behind win and came up just short with 9.3 points. Chato must have been losing his mind as he watched Zach Moss out-carry Singletary, stay on the field for the final drive of the winning game. If the Bills kick the field goal, Chato likely wins this matchup as the game moves into overtime, but not so much. Chato falls to 1-5 and drops into 10th place, but it's not all shitty diapers and rain clouds. Chato, at least you win something this week. The Bad Beat of the Week award.
See, now that's some bullshit.
In our 4th matchup this week, Warner Before You Falker overcame 3 players on IR to beat Papa Chubby in a 150-130 victory. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp carried Fred's team again for a combined 70 points. Darrell Williams added 24 points to help Fred outperform projections and move to 3-3 and in 7th place. Kurt had a rough showing from Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown of the Ravens for a combined 23 points, leaving him short of projections this week. Had Kurt started Kirk Cousins and Christian Kirk, he would have pulled off this win by 3 points. And for that move, he has earned himself a You Big Dummy award.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy.
Kurt drops to 2-4 and sits in 9th place. But just to be fair, I would have started Lamar too, but I love this clip so much that I just got to give it to someone. And now we get to really see just how bad things can go for some managers. Just when Maybe has rattled off his 5th straight loss and falls to That's Racist 144 to 122. Both managers had 3 players unavailable this week, and both still managed to outperform projections. Robert gets his 3rd straight win and moves up the ranks to 6th place, while Evan maintains his spot as a power bottom for the 2nd week in a row. Robert had 3 players active Monday night and was trailing by 54 points. Alan Diggs and the Buffalo kicker put up a combined 75 points to push Robert ahead in the 4th quarter Monday night. Now, before we get to our final recap, I want to stress one of the unwritten rules of Puffcakes Fantasy Football. Apparently, some of our veteran members need reminding. Nobody gives a fuck about your other league. I'll say it again for the dense people in the back. No one gives a fuck about your other league. Puffcakes for life, bitch. In 147-125 victory, Daddy Shark laid the smackdown against Wuhan Wild Wings. Daddy Shark outperformed projections by 20 points and took the win in this one. James was hoping Ryan Tannehill would pull off a Monday night miracle, but it wasn't in the cards this week. Hasn't really been in the cards for James recently, as this is his 5th straight loss.
Lombardia Bimba. The boy has no skills. You schooled by a little girl.
Wasn't much James could do because all of his bench players were out. Not a single point on his bench. Zeros across the board. Way to put a great team together, James. The Dean moves into 4th place and sits with 4 other managers at 4-2. James falls to 1-5 and is slumming it down in the dumps with Evan and Chato. Make sure you check those rosters for bye weeks this week, boys. And I'll see you all next Tuesday.